AIN Group's eLearn session. This is Tracy Whitebridge with the AIN Group, and today we are featuring the exciting MobileLock GPS locator with anti-theft alarm by DeWalt. We thank you today for attending and hope this product segment is informative for your business. I would just like to draw your attention to let you know that all attendees will be in lecture mode during the presentation. If anyone has a question, please, we kindly ask that you type the question in the Questions tab located to the right of your screen, and your questions will be answered at the end of the presentation. And without any delay, I would like to introduce your host today, Chris Allen, President of Cattail Technologies. Chris?
Thank you, Tracy, and thanks everybody for joining this call. What I'm going to do is walk through a product that we actually launched at the show in Indianapolis, and we are new to AIN. How it actually all came about was that we have been selling for several years now and have actually some pretty good penetration with a lot of the home builders who very successfully use this product, and some of which have a close connection to Stan and the team at AIN. Stan actually approached us because he believes, as we do, and I think what you'll find as well, too, that this is an excellent complement to a lot of your businesses. It is a new market that you're able to go after. It really addresses portable security and also into the GPS location market as well. My name is Chris Allen. I am the president of Cattail Technologies. We are the manufacturer for the MobileLock product. We do license the DeWalt brand, which is excellent for a lot of the markets that we do address, and I'll talk about how that's such a nice fit there. From a portable security standpoint, I would like to just talk about the profitability that's built into this one, because I understand, and I wouldn't focus so much on the specifics of this, but just to point out a little bit of how this is different and actually how very profitable it can be for each of you. Certainly when you set up a home for security applications, it is you're installing a security system, and it is, I wouldn't focus on the specifics of the numbers, but needless to say, it is a very profitable venture when you're setting up one individual house for security. But this is a little bit different, because with this, you're actually going after more businesses, and in a lot of cases, it could be construction companies. With this, they will buy a lot of mobile locks. So you could have, Ryland Homes, for instance, in your local market, may have 8 to 10 different subdivisions that they're currently have under construction. Maybe 1 or 2 of those are a high-risk area, and they want to secure the homes while they're under construction. It is very common that they'll want to have between 20 and 40, as many as 50 mobile locks just for that one city. So that one customer can be very profitable. And unlike, these are folks who are pretty savvy on how to be able to manage them. They can arm and disarm them, and they can do everything they need to, and they can manage it. But it's one customer that can certainly become very profitable for you. I just want to give you a little overview on some of the many different markets you can go after. When you look at a commercial construction site, there are a lot of things these guys are worried about, and it really it spans from certainly the mobile office they have to the mobile assets, whether it's the trucks and the heavy equipment, but it's also storage boxes on commercial construction. It's the large boxes they have out there, and it's all the different tools and things like that. And it's really simple. I mean, they just want to know what's happening with it and where is it. Often cases, it's not even so much that it's been taken. They just don't even know where they have it at this point. This is what MobileLock addresses. It's portable security, and it does give them the full location feature as well. Now, when you look at from a construction standpoint, there's 2 big parts of construction, commercial and residential. Commercial has really a set of applications that include things like office trailers, pull-behind trailers, heavy equipment, which can be the bobcats, skid steers, backhoes, things like that, Connex boxes, which are the large 40-foot containers. Residential construction, they really have a whole different set of applications, and it really comes down to appliances. You think about the last 30 days of construction. When they're building that home, that's when it's at its highest risk. This is after they've already now put in the appliances. They could be high-end Viking or Sub-Zero refrigerators, stoves, etc. But also AC units we're starting to see nationwide. This is a real problem for these builders. They put the AC unit in, and the entire thing is pulled out and taken off. So, obviously for the builder, it's delays, it's cost. There's a lot of things into it, and this is where this product is really ideally suited. Within construction, you can take a look at really a lot of other sub-users, if you will. I mean, there's general contractors, there's electrical mechanical companies, a lot of earth-moving contractors, which include road work, concrete companies, landscaper and remodelers. For them, it's typically the trailer. We do sell to all of these different types of customers today, and they very successfully use MobileLock. But don't lock yourself into just construction, because this does open you up to actually a lot of other opportunities. We sell to certain housing authorities and also apartment owners, which are very similar. I actually live just south of Baltimore. We've got about 10,000 individual units for within the housing authority. So when a particular unit becomes open, they've got about a 4 to 6 week period of time where they retrofit it for the next person on the list that's going to take it over. Well, what they're worried about is, of course, that particular unit becoming a crack house within about 14 days. So they can use a MobileLock, put it on the door, be alerted if anyone actually enters it, exits it, and they could just portably move it around. But also even storage containers. It's not so much just heavy, commercial construction companies that are doing this. It could be retailers that put out the large storage containers behind their place, like a Target or Walmart with Christmas coming up with the overstock of goods they might have. And it can also be large companies. We do sell to Exxon and Chevron and folks like that do have very large sites. Some of our largest customers are long-haul trucking. So we, all of the Electrolux and LG material that's transported around the country, all of it has a MobileLock today within the trucks that track from point A to point B, from the warehouse to when it gets to a store and everything in between. Law enforcement, we're in well over 100 of the top sheriff and police departments. It was voted Product of the Year by Riverside Police, which is basically LA Police. It's just all the 400 square miles around LA, and they have very successfully used the product for bait, tracking suspects, things like that. They found it to be the most reliable and certainly the most cost-effective. Comparable items for what they were using are close to $1,000 in cost, and we're a fraction of that. Utility companies, we sell to some of the biggest, everybody from Pacific Gas and Electric, Constellation Energy, Indianapolis Power and Light. They are very focused on how do I protect my substations. And so they don't so much go after the perimeter of it. They focus in on protecting the spools of wire and also some of the entry points within the substation. So that's been very, very effective. But then you also have ATMs, which is, of course, maybe not completely conducive for the DeWalt brand, but we have picked up a big market for regional banks, ATM proprietors. And I will say that compared to what is on the market, it's one of the most effective products for ATMs. ATM customers, in fact, of ours use every possible sensor built into the MobileLock very successfully. They magnetically mount it to the safe in the inside, and they're alerted when it loses power, when there's vibration, when the door opens, if it goes above a certain temperature. If it gets removed, they can track it. It's got the built-in siren, so it has a lot of ways for them to very cost-effectively protect it. And, of course, second homes. I'm sure you guys have a lot of them where the customer may not really want to put in a full-blown security system, but this is a very portable way in which they can just put it in there, be alerted if someone enters, be alerted if they lose power to the home, be alerted if it starts to drop down to close to freezing temperatures where they may have to take action, etc. So let me just walk through now what this product is. It is it's a completely self-contained portable wireless alarm system. So it is cellular. We work on the Sprint PCS data network. Now, it's not obviously necessary that a customer have Sprint service. That is what we use in the back end. And then it is completely portable, fits in the palm of your hand. It's battery powered, lasts for 30 days on a charge. It is job site tough. It is crush resistant. We've driven F-150 trucks over it, and it is dust proof, vibration resistant. It can take a serious beating on it. It is waterproof as well. And it has multiple sensors built inside of it, which include vibration. There's a door sensor built into it, a temperature sensor, and tamper, among others, which I'll walk through very quickly. All of this is operated through a secure website. So your customers would actually log into this site and then be able to configure the device and select the sensors that they want. In addition, they can also determine who they want this device to email, text, or phone. if there is an alert that happens. Now, the phone call is actually an automated voice. So the user can be notified, and they can actually have as many people as they want to be notified for an alarm. The way it happens is through the website or through other means. You can do it on your smartphone or even text commands, is that they will configure the device. And that is a simple text message that's basically sent to the device. Device can respond back, but also if there's an alarm, it will go back to not only updating the website, but also sending the outbound email, text, and the phone call. And in addition to this, it is a full GPS tracker. So you've got the portable alarm features, but you still have all the capabilities of a GPS tracking. Now, you can do it in very simple format like this, which is where is my asset right now, but you can also do it in a lot of live tracking situations, which we'll talk about. So there is a built-in siren in the MobileLock, which is very helpful because you can use it for certain things like, when you plug it in for power, like your cell phone. When you arm and disarm the device, you can get a chirp or double chirp like when you lock or unlock your car. It does have, you can put it in alarm siren mode, so when an alarm is detected, it will sound for 10 seconds. And also has a page feature. So if you do a locate, you're within about 50 feet. Or actually, I'll tell you, probably one of the best use cases is that with a detective, many of our customers have come right up to the point where they know a particular refrigerator or stove or an AC unit is stolen. It's doing a locate. It's right over the top of a garage, but the detective says, I don't have any probable cause for entering. And when you can set off the siren remotely, which is the page feature in this one, it does give probable cause so that the police at that point can get a warrant and make the arrest, and that's happened more times than not. So when you look inside the device, there are a variety of sensors built into it. Of course, there's the cellular antenna, the GPS antenna, and I'm going to walk through just some of these different sensors. The first is vibration. This is probably the most frequently used sensor in the MobileLock product. It does operate best when it's magnetically attached. There are magnets on the back of the MobileLock, so it makes it real easy just to attach it to steel boxes and heavy equipment and things like that. On the website, the user can select a level of sensitivity. They range between 1 and 7. And this is made so that it depends on how big the box you're attaching it to or the piece of heavy equipment, how thick is the steel. And so all of that makes a difference into what level of sensitivity the user is going to want, and also what level of sensitivity they're comfortable with so that they do not get a false alarm. With false alarms, you can also do a filter on it, which means it's pulse counting. So instead of being notified just at one level, one hit of vibration at the level of sensitivity that you've chosen, you can select so that you're notified only after multiple hits of vibration have been sensed at that level of sensitivity. So we have different levels, medium and high. Medium is 3 hits within 10 seconds, and a high sensitivity, or a high filter is actually 6 hits within 10 seconds. Best application for that one is you can put it on a Bobcat. The only way you're going to steal a Bobcat is to have the key, start it up, and drive it right off the site, which is how all of them are stolen. And so it's going to be the engine starting, which creates multiple hits of vibration. It's constant vibration. So in that situation, the user can put it on a very high sensitivity, but only be notified when it is multiple hits. And the applications, of course, are Connex boxes, which are the big storage boxes on job sites, trailers, heavy equipment, appliances, AC units. There is a built-in door contact as well. This is a magnet, excuse me, that lines up next to the MobileLock, and within inside the housing of the MobileLock is the other magnet. So you can, when the two separate, you can be notified whether the door opens or door closes, and you can get both those. Of course, mobile offices, but storage sheds, homes under construction, apartments, etc. There's a temperature sensor as well, too, where you can select if it goes above or below whatever temperature you choose, you can be notified. And this is great for a lot of our trucking customers, like some of the big pharma that is transporting prescription drugs. They want to be notified if the shipment in any time goes above or below a certain temperature. Same thing with perishable foods, etc. So that, and in addition to some of our concrete customers where they want to be notified if there's a risk of it dropping down into freezing temperatures. There's a tamper sensor built on the back. It's just a simple plunge tamper. So if you either screw it in place where you can see the 2 screw holes on either side of the device or the magnets, and it gets removed, whether the device is armed or not, it will report a tamper alarm, just to tell you someone's messing with it. Now, if none of these sensors are enough, we do sell a universal sensor input. It just plugs right into the bottom of the MobileLock. Cover pops off like you can see here in the picture. And it's got a contact bar for positive, negative wire in, and you can tie in any other normally closed sensor. So if you've got an application where you want to put a outdoor motion sensor or a gas sensor, or you want to daisy chain a whole bunch of different door sensors into a portable application, you can completely do that here, all battery powered. And if the powering options are not enough, there's a 30-day runtime in the MobileLock itself. But if that is not sufficient, we do sell an extended runtime case. It takes 4 D-cell batteries, and on a fully charged MobileLock with 4 new D-cell batteries, it'll give you a total of 90 days. So the case really gives you 60 days beyond the 30 that's built into the MobileLock. And then, of course, we have a 12, 24-volt connector. We do sell this to a lot of our customers that use the MobileLock for heavy equipment. This way, it's permanently powered, and they don't even have to think about it. Okay, so what I want to do now is I'm going to walk through the device from how it operates on the website. And I'm going to walk through just really simply just some of the screenshots just to give you a perspective of how your customers would interact with it, and also how your dealer site would operate as well, too, and some of the features that you have in a very simple way. You will have a dealer site which allows you and your team to be able to log in and operate the MobileLock. It's really a super user site is what it is. It gives you the capability to create sub-accounts, which are customers of yours, and you can really do all functions from there. Your customers, when they log in, will log into the exact same website, and they'll have their own username and password, which you've created for them, and they'll be able to operate and see their own devices. So when they log in, they're going to be confronted first with the account summary page. This page, just to give you an example, shows the different units that they have in their account. They can have as many units as they want. And we have several customers that have over 500 devices in an account. So they can group them, and they can say, okay, I've got these 50 on this one job site and these 25 over here. But these devices, of course, can be named how they want them. So you see here in the example, spool 1, spool 2 to signify like copper wire spools, trailer, Connex box. It tells you whether the device is armed or not. So think of it as like a security system. It only will notify you on certain alarms whether it's, in fact, it's armed. And then to the right are which sensors have you selected. If it's a colored box, it means this is a sensor that's been chosen that particular device. And if it's red, it means that it has recently had an alarm. Now, this is a very simple page. You can actually, on the left side, you see the little arrows pointing, for instance, at spool 1, spool 2. You can click those, and it will open up and show you unit history, other options. But from this page, you can actually go off and then go to what's called the Configure Units page. And this is really the control panel for this device. So I'm going to kind of highlight some of the things you can do on this page. Number one is you can rename your devices at any time. But you can also select from a list of different sensors. Now, motion, you can see at the top, is the only one that is actually not built into the MobileLock. It is a separate attachment that can snap right into the MobileLock, and it will detect if someone actually enters a room through infrared. And the door contact, the tamper, the low and high temperature, the vibration sensor, all of those are built in. And you can configure them exactly how you want. You can have multiple sensors or all of them going at the same time. And then you can select your different speaker settings up to the top right. Do I want it to make a sound when it arms and disarms? Do I want it to make an alarm siren when an alarm is tripped, etc.? And then you have different battery options. Do I want to be notified for a low battery? Notified when the charger is removed or it loses power. So these are some of the different options that you have on that one. The next thing you can do is you can do a lot of the basic commands, which include arming and disarming the device. You can do a locate, which will come back and show you a map of where it's at. You can page it, which we talked about before, and also you can request a status. At any time, this will come back and tell you what the signal strength is and the battery level is for that device. Now, the other thing is, instead of just arming and disarming from where I just showed you up in the send unit commands, a lot of our customers actually set up an arm and disarm schedule. So for construction companies, this is really helpful. If they've got a job site, they can set the devices up to automatically disarm, for instance, every morning at 6 a.m. as the example is here, and arm every night at 4 p.m. and then just stay armed through the weekend. And then in the website, you'll see that when the alarms come in. Now, if it's set up for phone, email, and or text, of course, then that will all be sent out. But this always gives you a history of what happened when for that device. Now, the nice thing is, too, that, of course, your email and your text is going to reflect. In this case, it'll say spool 1 and give you the unit number for the device. And it'll say it had a vibration alarm at 5:23 at 5:35 p.m. But also the outbound phone call also will transcribe text to voice. So when you get the outbound automated voice phone call, it will say spool 1 has had an alarm. The vibration sensor went off at this time. And then also you can do basic commands from your mobile phone. So when your customers are going to set up their own users in their own account. And manage those users, they can change the passwords, they can delete users. But when they set up a user profile, they have the option of putting in that user's mobile phone. When they put the mobile phone number in, it actually gives that user the capability to send basic text commands to any device in the account. So you can see here that a locate request was submitted by that cell phone number, which is one of the users in this account. And then right after that, it comes back and shows successful view. When you click on that view button, it brings up within that application a map of where is that device at that point in time. So sending text commands is great for guys on job sites because they can arm and disarm and do locates or status requests through a very basic text command. They do not need to sign into an account, which is kind of cumbersome. So even having an app where you'd have to then log in and all that to be able to do it would be a little cumbersome. This is simply just replying back to the same phone number that you receive alarms from. You could save it in your contacts and just send a quick text and say arm.spool1 in this example, and it would send a quick command to the device. In addition to doing location like this, you can also do live tracking. There's a whole other page in the website where it's more specific to the GPS functions that are built into the device. On the left-hand side, you can do additional locates one at a time. You can view those locates like the last locate, last 5, last 10, last 20, all on the same map. But you can also do what's called tracking sessions. This gives you the capability to determine a constant tracking for that device. So you can determine two things. The interval, how often do you want this to automatically do a locate? So for instance, every 10 seconds, every minute, every 5 minutes, every hour, every day. And how long do you want that tracking session to run? Do you want it to run just for the next 30 minutes, or do you want it to run for an entire week? You could set these up to go, and then you can see in real time where, for instance, a truck is traveling, or if you're tracking an AC unit and you got detectives going after it, you can do it in real time and track it. But you can also have a tracking session start when an alarm is detected. So let me just explain that. This is actually how a lot of our builders currently use it for instance, an AC unit. They'll put the MobileLock magnetically mounted in the inside of the AC unit. It'll be armed, and the vibration sensor will be selected. And then in the middle of the night, it detects vibration. But who knows if it was the compressor maybe that kicked it off, or something fell onto the AC unit. So, you know, a builder might be a little concerned, is it a false alarm or not? So what they can do then is when that vibration alarm is detected, it will automatically then trip and start a tracking session. So it'll start automatically doing locates. And let's say, for instance, I wanted to do a locate every 2 minutes for 30 minutes. So it's only going to do 12 to 15 locates. And if one of those locates then shows up outside of what is called a geofence, it can create another alarm. This means the AC unit not only detected vibration, but now a locate has come in that shows it to be, for instance, 400 feet from where I've designated it to be, which is called the geofence. It's a perimeter that you can go to in this one. We'll talk about that here real quickly. In addition to doing live tracking like this, you can also do real-time live tracking. In this case, every 10 seconds. See exactly where it's going. It updates in real time, dots on a map, and you can track to that point too. And we talked about the geofencing capability. This allows you to be able to create geofences. So your builders who are going to that example of doing a mobile lock within an AC unit, and it trips a tracking session, let's say when it detects an alarm, it will then start automatically doing locates. And let's say determine that I only really needed to go for 30 minutes, because if they're going to steal it, they're going to have it out of there within 30 minutes. So with that time frame, if one of those locates shows up outside of this selected geofence, it's going to create a secondary alarm. In fact, that may be the only alarm the builder really wants to know. They don't care about the vibration alarm. They want to know when has it left where it's supposed to be. At that point, then, I'm going to put some resource on it. I'm going to understand where it's going. I may enlist the police immediately into it and then make the arrest on it. Now, you can have multiple geofences, too. A lot of our trucking customers in their account can have several hundred different geofences set up around warehouses, around store locations, so they can be alerted when a truck leaves a certain place, enters a certain place, and then also specific points in between. So for a dealer, you actually have the exact same website as your users. The only difference when you log in as a dealer is you will have one extra tab, and that tab is just labeled Dealer. When you click on that, it gives you the capability of being able to create new accounts. And then, of course, through a drop-down, you can select which account you want to either view, make changes to, go into, and if you're trying to troubleshoot something. But it does give you super user capability. So your customers, you can, your customer can do a lot of the things that they need to do as far as setting up users, changing passwords, and obviously operating the device fully. But this does give you the capability to activate and deactivate devices and create these new accounts. Okay, let's talk about the costs. So the retail for the MobileLock GPS, and this is the MobileLock that fits in your hand with the wall charger that comes with it. It retails for $279. The AIN dealer cost is $160. And then we also sell a kit, which is the MobileLock packed with the extended runtime kit. And this is the one that has the 4 D-cell batteries. Gives you an extra 60 days of runtime. So it's $20 additional to get that case. So it's $180 total. And then the universal sensor input is the device that allows you to tie in any other normally closed sensor for other applications, and that's $70. And the 12 24-volt connector for permanent power applications is also $70. 30-day terms. You can place orders at DeWaltMobileLock.com. Our DC is actually up out of near Buffalo, New York, and we do offer free freight on all orders for AIN. Now, we are also offering with this, though, a demo unit. And you can purchase a demo unit, or if you need a couple, we can work with you on that for $100. And this will allow you to activate some devices, get it out to your salespeople, maybe some of your top customers, and be able to start to show them some of the capabilities that you can do with that. So in a second here, I'll show you some contact information for myself, and you can, if you can write that down, then you can contact me, and we can get those demos out to you. And then for service pricing, there is no discount within the first 19 units. This is really, I mean, if it's anything less than 19, I guess you'd argue if there's a dealership at that point. So it really, your first customer almost kind of nets 20-plus devices in a lot of cases. So when you get to 20 or more devices, your cost drops down to $15, and when you're 50-plus, it's $12 a month. So the retail is typically about $19.95, but that's as a completely self-monitored device. So there's really nothing more at this point than just creating the customer's account and then telling them what their login and password is and giving them the devices. They are off and going from there. And also, by the way, too, we do run full customer care support, so it's advertised within the site that your customers are operating. So if they have questions, typically they'll call our customer care for tech support, so that we can troubleshoot anything that they might have and all that stuff. So it makes it very, very easy on you guys to be able to manage the devices. And then if you do want to add more service on top of this, we do have some dealers that are having to go to, for instance, a central station, and they might charge $25 instead of $19.95. Or in some cases, they will do a full solution for instance, a builder. We've got a dealer in Miami that actually does it such where they will charge up the devices. They will actually put them into the AC units. They'll respond to the calls. They'll involve the police. They'll move them to the next one, and they charge a lot of money for it. And the builder is quite happy to just completely outsource that function and have that taken care of. So there are a couple different ways you can do it, but as a completely self-monitored device, it's $19.95. No long-term commitment or cancellation penalties or anything like that. And if a user wants to suspend a device, they can do that for just $2.50 a month. It keeps the device in their account, keeps all the history for the device, like all the tracking sessions and prior locates and history. And it also makes it so there's no reactivation fee when they want it down the road. So they can suspend it for instance, even 6 months. It's just $2.50 a month, our cost to you. And then when they want it active again, we can flip it right back to active status. If they deactivate a device, they can do that as well, too. It's just that there's a reactivation fee, and there's a limit to how long it can be fully deactivated before it will not reactivate again. And that time frame is only 60 days. And then for locates, there are a number of locates added in for free. So if a customer of yours has 10 devices in their account, they get 5 free locate credits times the number of devices they have in their account. So if they have 10 devices, they would get 50 free locate credits added every month. And whatever's not used rolls over, and more are added. And they can use them on any device within their account. So for almost every one of your customers, that's going to be all the locates they need. What we have found is that police and trucking companies typically are the ones that do high volume tracking. Those customers typically will buy additional locates, which all customers have the ability to do right from within the account. They can click a buy locate button, and they can just purchase locates, which will add the credits right into their account, and they can do that. But like I said, for almost all your customers, certainly for construction customers, the service actually is all-inclusive, certainly for locates and for the portable alarm. So how do you get started? Obviously, contact me, and we can set you up with the dealer account. We can provide training. We have PowerPoints to help you show how to just operate the site. We've set up a number of the AIN dealers coming out of the show in Indianapolis, and I can tell you, if you ask them, it's just a couple minutes, really, and you're very familiar with the website. It's very easy to use. We get you the price sheets. We have a lot of sales support materials like color brochures, things like that, also online support materials. But certainly we want to help you as much as we can. And I'm going to open it up now for any questions.
Great. Thank you, Chris. What a great presentation. We do have a few questions coming in. Our first few questions are from Chris Bandimia. And I will open up Chris's line. And his first question is wanting to know about vehicles. How about work vans?
Yeah, okay. So we do have a number of customers that do work vans. There are vehicle tracking products on the market where they actually tie right into the OBD connector up underneath the steering wheel. And those devices, of course, will report speed and if there's any engine fail lights that come on or things like that. But I think once you talk to customers that have utilized them, they start to realize that they don't ever really look at that information. So the benefit of ours is that while there's no connector to the OBD, there is no installation required. You can literally put it in the trunk, up under a seat, in the glove compartment, fully battery powered, or you can just do the 12-volt connector for permanent power. Extremely easy to do. No external antennas. It does not need line of sight, so you can bury it down in the car and get very good accuracy on it.
Another question from Chris Mandimio. Would this replace my GPS systems I currently have?
If the GPS system is for vehicles, then absolutely. This could be certainly a method for replacing that. I'm not sure if this is a different GPS device that maybe you're selling for other applications, but and let me just take a second on that as well, too, just some of the different devices that are out there. There really are not a lot of different portable security products out there. I think some of you may have heard of products like a Tattletale, which is just a traditional wireless security system that can work in a portable environment. And then there are locators. And the world has out there some cheap locators, which are, they're not waterproof, they're not durable, but they're also not what's called cellular assisted. And this is, the police have found this one out over the last couple of years, and this is why they prefer the MobileLock product. Cellular assistance, and I'll explain that from a GPS standpoint, is that a lot of the cheap GPS locators out there, what happens is when you request a locate, it turns on its GPS antenna, it grabs what it can from the satellites, and then it just transmits that raw data back, and it's populated onto a map. The problem is the GPS satellites, it's difficult to, the signal from the satellites is very weak, so oftentimes it's hard to get enough satellites to get an accurate locate. If the device is obstructed, then in a lot of cases for these types of locators, it will just come back as a failed locate. And that's been very, very frustrating for the police. So we are one of a few devices on the market that have what's called cellular assisted. And it only operates either on the Sprint or Verizon network. We've chosen Sprint really because we believe their location-based network is better than Verizon's. But it is a Qualcomm technology. What happens is that when you request a locate from a MobileLock, it turns on its GPS antenna, same way as the other one. It grabs what it can from the satellites, but in this case then it sends that raw data to one of several huge super servers, which are called PDEs, Positioning Determining Enterprises. They're big super servers within the Sprint network on license from Qualcomm, solely in place for doing location-based technology like this. And it basically cleanses the locate. So when that raw data comes in, it determines this signal from the satellites is too weak or bounced. I'm going to discard those. I'm going to add in cell tower data, and then it's going to do the fix, bring it back to our website, and it can tell us the range of accuracy with every one of those locates. So the benefit is, in many cases, you're always going to get a locate. Now, the range of accuracy will widen the more obstructed the device becomes. The more it has to add in cell tower data, the less accurate the locate, but you are, in almost every case, able to get a locate. So that's one of the really key benefits of the MobileLock product.
Great, thank you, Chris. And another question regarding customer accounts. Is the dealer able to suspend the customer's device?
Yes. So through your dealer portal, you can deactivate a customer's device. You can move that device back to your own account or to another account if you resell the device or you get it back from a customer, and you can also suspend the customer's device right through your own portal. And of course, we have customer care that can help you with that as well.
Great. And our next question is from Fred Jenner. How does the unit transmit through the metal case of the AC unit?
So there's enough holes and leaks and all that kind of stuff where the signal can still get out. And it's much like, too, with trailers, too. Trailers are aluminum, but they have wood floors, and it can communicate well with that, or they have a fiberglass front. Same thing with a lot of the Connex boxes, which are all steel, but they have a wooden floor. Where you will get into problems is if you put it inside of, for instance, like an ATM safe. That is 100% metal, and it's so sealed up that in many cases that will completely obstruct the signal. So in cases like that, we do recommend an antenna that can be fastened to the outside of the MobileLock. And it's a passive antenna. It doesn't plug into it. It just Velcros right to the outside of it. And it just comes with a coil out to a small pigtail antenna. So it's basically just bringing the signal from the outside of the safe to the inside of the safe and vice versa. But in a lot of these other applications, it does not have a problem.
Great. Another question from Chris Kamanish from Sight and Sound. Does the monthly fee
Cut out there.
I apologize for that. There was something happened with the audio controls, and I apologize. And
No
I don't
problem.
know,
If you
did
could
you
just
hear?
repeat that question, that'd be great.
Absolutely. Question is from Chris K. Manish with Sight and Sound. Does the monthly fee increase if the number of active accounts fall below the 50 plus?
No, once you get to the 50, you're locked in.
Okay, next question is from Dennis Floyd. What happens when the unit leaves a Sprint coverage area? Will it roam on the other towers?
It will not. It is set up for Sprint. Sprint, and let me explain this a little bit as well, too, that the phones that are out there today, the FCC mandates that all the carriers have to roam with each other, but they do not mandate that for data. And they do not also mandate that for location-based technologies. But the carriers have jointly worked together for sharing and roaming on each other's data plans, but none of them have at this point openly gotten to roaming and sharing on the location side of it. But so we can, in certain situations, we can specially configure devices to roam, and all they will roam between is Verizon to Sprint. So they would try for Sprint first, and they would go to Verizon. But that's on a special exception basis. What our stock out of the warehouse is that it is configured to go on Sprint. I will say that in the tens of thousands of devices we've sold, and that for as long as we've been on the market, it is a small handful where you run into a situation where it does not operate. And in those cases, we have done special exceptions to do a roaming device. What you'll find in many cases is that because it's working on the data network, I think a lot of us see this when we work on our cell phones, where you can't get a voice channel. You can't make a phone call, but you're able to get an SMS out, text message, or an email. And that's the same thing with this, that it'll work in often a lot of places where there won't even be any voice coverage. If there is any question about where it will not or will work, you can go right to Sprint's website for coverage, and
Audio difficulties on my end. And,
okay.
we did have an additional question. Is the monthly fee advertised in any website? Is there or is there a leasing option?
Okay, so the 1995 is understood and advertised, and the reason why is because we do sell, one of the only primary retailers we do sell, we do not sell to Home Depot and Lowe's, by the way, but we do sell through Grainger, which is actually a big plus for the product from the standpoint of credibility and things like that. But also, Grainger sells at a very high price. Their retail for the device is $299. But for those customers, when they buy it, they open up the box and they can create their own account, and it costs $19.95 to go off and do that. For the dealer program, this is where we offer the margin on the hardware, but also the monthly recurring revenue margin opportunities as well, too. But this also gives, from a dealer standpoint, if you're charged $12 and you're charging out the customer $19.95, that's purely intended as a self-monitored. The dealer has the option of obviously upselling that for a little bit more service to be able to take that price up as well, too.
Great. Is there an extra cost for the Sprint Verizon setup?
There is not, no.
Do we have any additional questions for Chris? Again, please feel free to type a question in the questions tab on the right of your screen, and or use the raise your hand feature, which was left of your name, and I'll be happy to open up your phone line as well. We have a question regarding how do you get the demo?
Just go ahead and call call that number, 410-975-5600 is our office line here. You can ask for me. Also, Chris, C-H-R-I-S, at DeWaltMobileLock.com. You can email me. And what we'll do is we'll contact you to create your dealer account, which really just takes a couple minutes, and then get the order for you for the demo unit.
Great, and I'll make sure that everyone receives your contact information that's attended our call today. And again, if anyone has any other questions, I see a few more coming in. Is there a smartphone app in the works for the near future?
Great question. So we have actually started development on an app, and I don't have a date for when that's going to be done for both Android and for the iPhone. But I will say, though, that the text command feature that we have in place right now, in a lot of respects, is even better than the app itself, because with an app you would still have to log into your account, and then the functions that a lot of customers are going to want to do is like arm it, disarm it, do a locate, and then also to maybe possibly do a page of the device and do a status request. But through text commands, you could do that very simply without even having to log in. So there is a specific phone number that alarms come into, and you can just respond right back to it. For instance, disarm.spool1 or status.spool1, and within 20 seconds it'll come back to you with a text that says the status of the device is battery level is very good, signal strength is good, temperature around the device is 72 degrees. And then I could do a locate of it, and I could say locate.spool1 and send. That's it. And it will come back and say spool1 is at this specific address. It'll give me the physical address of where spool1 is at. And then, of course, if I arm and disarm it, it'll give me confirmations of that as well, too. So while it's not all the features that are in the website, and, of course, you can pull up on a smartphone the website itself and be able to do that. Texting doesn't give you all those capabilities, but it does give you really the top 5 that users are looking to do.
Great. One other question. Do you...
Uh-oh. Lost you there. One more time, Tracy.
Do you offer any builder pricing for the models?
For the models, you mean for the model homes of a builder?
For model homes. Chris, I'm going to open up your phone line so you can ask Chris Kimanish. I'm going to open up your line.
So the question
Chris Kimanish, I opened up your line.
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, it is for the model home as a teaser for the builder. If we go to them, the whole idea is you understand your product, you believe in your product, and you know it actually sells itself once it is used. So what we're asking for, do you believe in your product enough to do some calculated investment of dealer so they can actually take it to the builders and distribute it one, perhaps to each builder, so that it, as a teaser, to get them excited to purchase more.
Yep, I mean we have done some like 30-day trials with a builder. In fact, we got one going on with Ryland and stuff like that, where we can get a couple devices for them to try out. We've done that. Usually for anywhere between 2 to 3, sometimes as much as 4 weeks. Gives them an idea how that all operates. And then, and we can work with you if there's a certain situation. If they just need to get their hands on a unit, absolutely, we can work with you. We don't really have a published program per se on that one, but it would be something depending on the opportunity. Now, regarding model homes, though, let me just talk about this one. One of the AIN dealers, for instance, up in, I believe in Maryland, is working with Ryland Homes on their model homes. They've been losing TVs. And the application here is that they are looking to install the mobile locks actually inside the TV in the model home. And we do have some dealers that have done this very successfully. The way they do it is they actually take the back panel of the TV off, and they put the mobile lock right in. They actually tap right into the power supply line that's going in with a plug just a normal 110-volt plug-in, so they can plug the charger in and permanently power the MobileLock right inside the TV. That way, then, when the TV gets unplugged, someone's going to steal it and they unplug it, it immediately creates an alarm that will go out. Not a siren, but it'll notify people that the TV's now lost power, and this could be a theft, and then they can track it and do things like that. Obviously, for this situation, it's not important to have brand new, good-looking products. And so what we have offered in that situation is that we do have reconditioned product. It's fully warranted, operates perfectly. It just might have some nicks and scratches and things like that on it. And because in some of these cases, too, they're actually going to take the entire inner guts out of the MobileLock. They'll take the plastic housing apart, and then so they can get it as thin as possible. And for those situations, we've offered, there's a little bit more lead time on it, but we have offered $100 for those devices.
Excellent. Since you made this comment, will there be some way that you can share some of these similar concepts, similar ideas with AIN so that they can distribute it to the dealers? Because every one of these ideas are shared, potentially can benefit all of us.
Oh, absolutely. You mean to be able to get more of these types of ideas out?
Yeah, what you just mentioned as an example.
Right. Nah, good point. And I think, you know, the builders are faced with this stuff every day right now, and it's more of just a communication to them that there is something out there that can take care of it. A lot of them just roll it into the cost of doing business, where this gives them the opportunity to be able to tackle it. I think what we have found more often than not is they make the arrest, it shuts it down in that subdivision. That's what they really want to do.
Tracy, can I ask one more question?
Sure.
Chris from CV Security had mentioned about the, I'm sorry, go ahead. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can.
Okay. Chris from CV Security also mentioned about the vehicles, the trucks that we have around. I was a little bit unclear about if it's installed in the vehicle, since the vehicle is constantly in motion, and you also on a page about the cost, you made a comment about the tracking. You get 5 use per month, and then I guess there's some sort of extra fee for that. I wasn't quite clear if these two are two separate things, or if you put it in a company-owned vehicle that you just basically need to see where your technicians are and so on. How does that differ from that option that you mentioned? You get only
no, hey, great question. Let me explain that. So you're right. There is a limited number of free locates added in each month. So you know, whereas some of the vehicle GPS products on the market today, they have the capability of doing line of sight. You can, you know, either with an antenna, or you can get it in a place where it does the locates, and they're in many cases even pre-configured so that they automatically do locates at a certain time. And then you buy a plan that includes that number of locates, or however it might be. And sometimes it's $39, sometimes it's $69, sometimes $100 a month, whatever it might be. So the MobileLock is $19.95 a month. Retail, $12 for you when you have 50 or more devices. But then that's only going to give you a certain number of locates. So if you needed to buy more locates, the way you do it here is you actually buy a package of locates. And you can buy 1,500 locates for $225. That's 15 cents a locate. That's also a package your users can buy. We do have a dealer package, which is above that, which is above it's above an advertised one that's in the website. It's 10,000 locates for $1,000, so it's 10 cents a piece. But these can be loaded right into the account and then used on any particular device. So you kind of have to do the math to see, is this, you know, in a lot of cases it comes out to about the same as to what you're having with a current plan, whether it be $39 or something like that for some of the other devices on the market.
So in relation to what you just mentioned, then if it's heavy machinery that the builder is using, then the same expense should apply to them as well, right?
Correct. So like for instance, if I'm a builder and I've got it on heavy equipment, and let's say the builder's paying you $19.95 a month, and they're getting a certain number of locates every month added in, if it's not enough and they want to do a lot of tracking, they can, right in their own website, they can click buy purchase locates. And they can buy a small package of 50 locates for 25 bucks, which is small, but it's more expensive per locate. It's like 50 cents a locate. Or they can buy 1,500 locates for $225. Now, that purchase is not going through you, the dealer. It's going straight to us. We just load the locates in. I wouldn't be concerned with that only because it's not a lot of revenue. We actually, for years, tried to do it so that the dealer could profit from the locates, and the feedback we got when we relaunched the website about 2 years ago, year and a half ago, was it actually just made things more problematic because they're not buying so much in locates. It now makes it so that you don't have a situation where your bill is going to be variable. Yeah, you know now every month what your bill is going to be. If you do want to sell locates, though, you can, because you can buy a locate for a package, let's say, of 10,000 locates for $1,000 bucks, load it into your account, your master account, and then if a particular customer of yours wants locates, you can, through your dealer site, you can move locates to any account that you have. So you can, if you wanted to do it, but this makes it so you don't have to. You can let your customers just manage their own locates, take care of it themselves, and your bill every month is constant. Or if you do want to sell locates, that option is available for you.
Do you have any dealers that are using your product for their trucks? If they do you have any experience in the history of the expense per unit?
Well, we do, but I mean, as far as, it really comes down to how often you want to do the locates. I mean, if you're trying to do it every 10 seconds, you're going to consume a huge amount of locates. We do have some trucking companies, though, as a for instance, that do it in trailers, and they track every hour all the time. So they're consuming a tremendous amount of locates. Those customers we have on an all-you-can-locate plan. So them as a user, they're actually set up at $39.95. So we don't really have a dealer program per se on that one. It's not to say that we couldn't do it. So if you had a customer that wanted to do, constant all-you-can-locate, so it's an all-you-can-eat plan basically, and at a user level, that's $39.95.
Okay, for those who are not doing it and they want to purchase only bunches, the functionality, once they hit the 5, and if they want to do the 6th one, is the system going to ask them, hey, you need to buy it before I can show it to you?
Yep.
Or does it automatically build
it
their
automatically
account?
prompts it and says you're out of locates, you need to buy more, yeah.
I see. Okay. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris. We have an additional question from Dennis. Phone line. And he had a question regarding, are the extra locates a one-time purchase or a monthly fee?
No, one time personally. So you can, if you wanted to buy extra locates, it's a package. It loads in, and those. So if I bought 1,500 locates for my account, they're not going to expire until they're used, and I can use them on any device that I want, and it's not a recurring charge.
Okay. The next question I have while you're on the line here, I looked yesterday to put a credit card on file to pay our monthly fee. I did not see that on the dealer side. Is that there? Did I look over it?
Okay, so you currently have a dealer site now with MobileLock?
We do. We just got one unit in, trying it out, and I already have my dealer site set up. I just didn't see a place to put in credit card information for the monthly payment.
Yeah, so when you log in, there's a tab called Accounts. You click that and then Account View, and that'll bring up the details of the account that you can edit, as well as credit card fields right below that.
Okay.
And then when you click Edit there, you can actually add the credit card, click Next, and it'll just save it so that if you want, then your charges for the service can go right to a credit card. And that brings up a great point that each of you as dealers have the option that if you'd like us to, if you'd like it to go to a credit card, you can do that, and you can change it at any time. Every month on the 1st, you'll get an email to a billing person that you choose, as well as an account owner with the invoice, and it could be, and also a receipt for the charge of the card. And if you'd like it to be by invoice, so that you can pay by check, that's also available to you. So you would just get a copy by email of the invoice, and you can submit payment.
Sounds great.
Great, thanks.
We have Daniel on the line with us, and Daniel, he has a question as well. Daniel, your phone line is open. And Chris, I'll just open yours as well.
Sure,
just
great.
If anyone has any additional questions, we have
about
thanks. 3 or 4 left. So.
All right, Chris, can you hear me?
With your included in a statement or anything like that to some of your other customers. We also have roughly that same size is a trifold pocket-sized color brochure that opens up and explains the MobileLock in detail. And it's in both of which are geared a lot to the construction trade, so a lot of those applications. But they're available free of charge. Anybody that sets up, we can. Some of the dealers that have already been set up now with AI, and we've shipped out several hundred so that they can get their marketing campaigns underway.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Daniel, Dennis, Chris, any other questions?
Yep. Any other questions? These are great questions.
Thank you very much. No, I'm good.
I think I'm good.
Okay, good. Excellent.
Alrighty, well, I thank you guys for your time today. Chris, I thank you for a great presentation, and I will make sure to get all of Chris Allen's information to our dealers that were on the call today, and we thank you very much for attending our eLearn session today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Everyone have a great day.
Bye-bye.
You as well. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.